Are you in the market to buy a new car but not sure how much car you can actually afford? In this video, we are going to be talking about car affordability and doing it like a pro with my easy to follow tutorial. So let's go ahead and jump right into how much car can you actually afford? Financial experts like to use a simple rule of thumb. According to NerdWallet, car buyers should spend no more than 10% of their take-home pay on a car loan payment and no more than 20% for total car expenses, including things like gas, insurance, and car repairs. But really, you're probably going to see in your research that there is a general rule called the 24-10 rule. Let's explain what that means. So in the 24-10 rule, the 20 stands for 20% should go towards a down payment on a car. 4 stands for the number of years on that car loan. And the 10 stands for the 10% of your take home should go towards any car transportation costs such as gas, maintenance, fees, repairs, and also the car loan monthly payment. Let's take a look at an example of how the 24-10 rule actually plays out. Let's say that you want to purchase a car with the price sticker tag of $30,000. With 20% down, you'd need $6,000 upfront to pay for this car. A 4-year loan at 4.37% interest would equal a monthly payment of $546. Now let's take a look at transportation costs. Now, just kind of averaging things as I've been seeing them with my work in personal finance, insurance, monthly insurance would be about $80. If you can get it for that cheap on one car, you're doing great. Gas around $150 per month, maintenance at $50 per month, registration fees of $25 per month, and then again that loan payment of $546. The total monthly cost of ownership in this scenario would be $851 per month. In order to afford a car based on this 24-10 rule, then you would need a monthly income of about $8,510 per month, which is probably not even a thing that you can consider. And also factoring in all of the other basic monthly expenses that it takes to live your life. So if you're not into that idea, a lot of people want to go into leasing a car. So should you lease a car versus this 24-10 rule? Now there are some cons, definitely, and some pros. I said pros of leasing a car that you want to consider. Cons include things like hidden costs that may be in addition to that lease payment, such as higher insurance rates, the mileage charges. Also, the dealership could charge you for any nicks and scratches during the life of your lease. Now, there could be a pro here where you're getting this brand new car and you only have to drive it for 2-3 years and then you're out of the lease and you're on to the next new car. Oftentimes, maintenance is included as part of your lease payment, so you really don't have to worry about additional charges or upcharges for oil changes and things of that nature. Now, the only time that I would really consider leasing a car a good and viable option is if you view this as a luxury spending situation. I'm talking this is for really high income earners or those with net worths of more than $1 million who just want to spend their fun money, their discretionary money on driving a really nice car temporarily. I actually know a friend who did this and has a net worth of more than $1 million and said, I want to drive this new BMW for a year or two and I think it's going to be great. It gives me an idea of what Beamers are like. I just want to test drive this thing and just have it for fun. And so he was able to do that because he has a very high net worth and no debt. And so those are situations where I could see maybe car leasing an okay option. But in most cases, car leasing is just Not an option for your daily driver. So what's the other alternative here? I actually found really great advice from moneyunder30.com that talked about the golden rule of car buying, and that is the car's price should never exceed 35% of your gross annual income. And if you're just looking for a basic ride to get to work and back, consider capping the car price at 25 or even 15% of your annual income instead. So that should be your benchmark. We're talking 15% on the low end or even lower than that, but no more than 35% of your gross annual income. That's your income before taxes and deductions are taken out. So if you are making $100,000, then you'll want to look for a car that's priced at $35,000 or below. And if you're a dual income earner, you're considering your spouse's income in that, then it would be 35% of your combined gross annual income. So now that we know how much car you can afford, what are some tips and tricks to actually make this car buying process even better for you? My first advice is to buy used and not new. New cars depreciate up to 20% of its value the second it's driven off the lot, and they can depreciate up to 10 to 15% each year for the next 5 years that you own that car. I actually saw on Carfax.com, this was a great example, that a 5-year-old vehicle that sold for $40,000 when new will be worth $16,000. A 5-year-old vehicle that sold for $30,000 will now be worth $12,000. So when you think about this, and I hate when people say, I'm going to buy this car as my next investment piece, it's not an investment because you will always lose money on a car purchase. And so you really have to think about this as, while it is an asset, it's a depreciating asset. The longer that you hold on to this car, the less that it's going to be worth in most cases. And so when I'm thinking about car buying, I want to think about longevity. How long can I make that car last? Is this going to be a comfortable ride for my daily driver? Can I commute from point A to point B very easily and quickly, and also get a car that has really reliable safety features and it's not known for having major repairs down the road? My second piece of advice for you is to start saving for your next car now. Open up a high yield savings account. These are savings accounts that earn more interest than a traditional bank would offer. Banks like Ally Bank and Capital One are earning 3.75% interest on money in a savings account with those banks. Open up one. It has literally no minimums to open, no monthly maintenance fees. I actually did a whole video on Ally Bank at Capital One that you guys can check out up here in the cards. And this is where I keep my savings for my replacement car fund. Every single month I'm going into my budget and I'm setting aside money into that car fund until I reach the amount that I want saved. My third piece of advice for you, and this is like a game changer for me because it gives me realistic expectations of how much that car is going to be, is by using two resources, kellybluebook.com, KBB.com, and Consumer Reports. So signing up for a monthly subscription, I think it's like $7 a month for consumerreports.com, and utilizing that to look up makes and models of different cars that I'm interested in. So I come up with a short list of maybe 5 different mid-size SUVs that I'm interested in. I use Consumer Reports to kind of get the safety features, an overall review of the vehicle and what it might be like, just to give me some ideas of what I'm jumping into. Then I use KBB.com to figure out what a used car and what the valuation of that used car is when I'm going to things like Facebook Marketplace or used car dealerships to look up, okay, is this actually a fair value for what they are pricing this at, or can I actually negotiate this down? My next piece of advice for you is to aim for a car that's 2 to 5 years older than the current year. So if the current year is 2023, then we are looking for a vehicle that's around 2018 to 2020, and we're looking at cars around that area, because typically you're going to see that the depreciation now has basically taken care of itself for the majority, right? It's lost a lot of its value when it came off the lot new. And then also the mileage, we're trying to look at mileage that's easily under like 70,000 miles. And I think that's the sweet spot there, where you're going to get the best best deal, and you're not going to get a lot of high mile vehicles, especially if we're thinking about long-term cars. Now, I've driven my 2015 Subaru Forester for the last 6 years, and we bought it when it had around 30,000 miles, and since then we've put around 36,000 miles on that car, which is fantastic. So I'm averaging around 6,000 miles per year. And I like to look at those cars to see like how long can I make this car last, and then what are the maintenance costs associated with that. You always need to understand that all cars, no matter which one that you get, they're always going to have sunk costs, including insurance, maintenance, gas, all of these things. You are never going to get those costs back. That is just the cost of car ownership to you. So you really have to think about that when you are searching for your next vehicle. Another thing that you can do here, and what I see a lot of people not looking at, is understanding their car insurance policies. Take a look at your premiums and understand your coverages. Do you have liability only? Are you looking to add comprehensive and collision coverages? These are insurance terms that you should be familiar with, and if you aren't, you definitely need to check out my video on car insurance. I will link that up here in the cards. But even better than that is to use a car insurance comparison tool called the EXPERIAN car insurance comparison tool. It's a free tool for you to use where you can upload your current policy and then you can compare it against their insurance providers and see which one has the best rate. I find this tool is just very eye-opening for me to see exactly, am I overpaying in car insurance, or is there a better fit for me out there? If you've been following my channel for a while, then you know I am not a fan of car loans. I'm really not a fan of any debt aside from the mortgage. And so car loans to me and the 24/10 rule is just bullshit. I would rather you save up in cash for a vehicle and use that rule of 35%. So looking at your total gross income and making sure that your sticker price is no more than 35% of your take home. And some people aren't comfortable with putting a third of their income towards their next car purchase. So really aim for something that's a lot cheaper than that, and you're going to see that you are truly owning your car and the car's not owning you. And also just think about the cost that comes with a car loan, how much interest that you're paying. I've seen many people jump into monthly car payments of $500, $600, $700 per month, and it's just eating their budget alive. Imagine what you could do if you didn't have that $500, $600 monthly car payment. Could you actually put it towards a really fun vacation to Las Vegas? Could you take your boo out for a nice sushi date? Could you buy that new furniture set that you were eyeballing at Living Spaces the other day? These are the things and the ways that you should approach that money energy, because if all that energy is going into a car payment that is really just not serving you and you're actually paying more for that car, I really think it's a bad idea, and rather you should pay for your car in cash. If you thought this video was helpful in understanding how much car you can afford, give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one.